In the shimmering blue waters of Pacific Blue Marine Park, under the relentless sun of a coastal afternoon, Jessica Radcliffe stepped into the spotlight that would forever etch her name into the annals of tragedy, or so the story goes. Jessica was a vibrant 28-year-old marine trainer, with sun-kissed hair tied back in a practical ponytail, her wetsuit hugging her athletic frame as she moved with the grace of someone who had spent years communing with the ocean's most majestic predators. The park, nestled along the rugged shores of what was purported to be California's coastline, was a haven for families seeking thrills and education about marine life. Towering tanks housed dolphins flipping through hoops, sea lions barking for applause, and at the center of it all, the Orca exhibit, a massive pool where killer whales, those black and white behemoths, performed synchronized dances that blurred the line between nature's raw power and human choreography. On that fateful day, the air was thick with excitement. Children pressed their faces against the glass barriers, parents snapped photos, and the crowd's murmurs built into a crescendo as the show began. Jessica, known for her infectious energy and deep bond with the animals, was the star trainer for Shamu's Legacy, a performance featuring a pod of orcas led by a massive male named Titan. Titan was no ordinary orca. At over 22 feet long and weighing nearly 12,000 pounds, he was a symbol of the park's success, rescued from the wild years ago and trained to perform feats that left audiences breathless. But beneath the surface, whispers among staff hinted at his unpredictable nature, moments of aggression that were quickly hushed up to keep the illusion of harmony intact. As the music swelled, a pulsing electronic beat mixed with oceanic sounds, Jessica climbed onto the platform overlooking the pool. She waved to the crowd, her smile radiant, her voice booming through the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of the orcas. These incredible creatures are the apex predators of the sea, intelligent, social, and full of surprises." The audience cheered as the orcas surfaced, their dorsal fins slicing through the water like knives. Jessica signaled, and Titan responded, gliding beneath her as she dove into the pool with practiced elegance. She swam alongside him, her hand trailing along his smooth skin, a display of trust that had been rehearsed countless times. The routine progressed flawlessly at first, Jessica riding on Titan's back as he propelled through the water, leaping out in a spray of foam that drenched the front rows. Laughter echoed through the arena. Then came the highlight, the dance on the whale. Jessica positioned herself atop Titan's snout, balancing precariously as he held still, her feet planted firmly. She began to move, a choreographed routine of twirls and waves, syncing with the music. The crowd was mesmerized. It was a moment of pure magic, human and animal in perfect sync. But then, something shifted. Titan's eyes, those dark, inscrutable orbs, seemed to flicker with an unnatural intensity. Perhaps it was the heat, the stress of captivity, or, as one version of the tale insists, a biological trigger like the scent of menstrual blood wafting through the water, a detail that added a layer of visceral horror to the narrative. Whatever the cause, Titan lurched suddenly. Jessica lost her balance, her arms flailing as she slipped toward the water. The audience gasped, thinking it part of the act. But it wasn't. In a blur of motion, Titan's massive jaws opened, clamping down on Jessica's leg with terrifying precision. Blood bloomed in the water like ink from a spilled bottle, turning the crystal blue into a murky red. Screams erupted from the stands as Jessica's cries pierced the air, raw, desperate pleas for help. She thrashed, trying to pry herself free, but Titan dragged her under, his powerful body twisting in a frenzy. Other trainers rushed to the edge, blowing whistles and slapping the water in futile attempts to distract him. The orcas in the pod circled, their calls echoing hauntingly through the underwater speakers. Jessica resurfaced briefly, gasping, her face contorted in agony, before being pulled down again. The attack lasted mere minutes, but to the horrified onlookers, it felt eternal. Titan shook her like a rag doll, his teeth tearing through flesh and bone. By the time reinforcements arrived with nets and prods, Jessica's body was limp, floating in a crimson cloud. Paramedics pulled her out, but it was too late. The young trainer, full of life and passion for marine conservation, was pronounced dead at the scene from massive trauma and blood loss. The park shut down immediately, the crowd evacuated in chaos, many in tears, some vomiting from the shock. News helicopters hovered overhead, capturing the eerie silence that followed the pandemonium. In the aftermath, investigations were launched, or so the story claims. Pacific Blue Marine Park faced lawsuits, animal rights activists protested outside its gates, decrying the cruelty of keeping such intelligent beings in captivity. Jessica's family, devastated, spoke of her dreams, She had studied marine biology in college, volunteered at rescues, and believed in educating the public about ocean preservation. Tributes poured in, flowers piled up, and vigils were held under starry skies. But questions lingered. Was Titan provoked? Had the park ignored warning signs? And why did this feel so eerily familiar? This tale of Jessica Radcliffe's demise spread like wildfire across social media platforms in the summer of 2025, captivating millions with its blend of horror, drama, and cautionary undertones. Videos purportedly showing the attack racked up views in the tens of millions, shared with captions like, "Tragic Orca Incident, Rip Jessica," or, "This is why we need to free the whales." Hashtags such as #JessicaRadcliffe, #OrcaTack, #MarinaParkTragedy trended globally, fueling debates on animal welfare, the ethics of theme parks, and the dangers of human-animal interactions. Comment sections overflowed with condolences, conspiracy theories, and calls for boycotts. Some users claimed insider knowledge, posting alleged, leaked, footage or eyewitness accounts. Others drew parallels to documentaries, amplifying the story's reach. It wasn't just a news item, it became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring memes, fan art, and even petitions to close similar facilities. Influencers dissected the footage frame by frame, pointing out the moment it all went wrong. News outlets picked it up, initially reporting it as breaking news before scrambling to verify. The virality was amplified by algorithms that prioritized shocking content, pushing it into feeds worldwide. Families discussed it at dinner tables, schools used it as a teachable moment on media literacy, and animal rights groups leveraged it to renew campaigns against captivity. But as the dust settled and scrutiny intensified, cracks appeared in the narrative. Doubts emerged. Where exactly was Pacific Blue Marine Park? A quick search revealed no such place existed, no permits, no reviews, no satellite images. Jessica Radcliffe herself proved elusive. No birth records, no social media profiles predating the video, no obituaries in legitimate databases. Colleagues from supposed marine biology circles had never heard of her. The video, upon closer inspection, showed telltale signs of manipulation, inconsistent lighting, unnatural movements, voices that sounded synthesized. Experts in digital forensics weighed in, identifying AI fingerprints, generative models like those from advanced tools that could fabricate realistic scenes from scratch. The truth unraveled swiftly. The entire Jessica Radcliffe Orca attack incident was a hoax, meticulously crafted using artificial intelligence to deceive and provoke. Originating likely on platforms like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, the video combined archival footage of real orca shows with AI-generated elements, including Jessica's likeness, the attack sequence, and even the crowd's reactions. The audio featured a robotic narrator recounting the events, in dramatic tones, complete with fabricated eyewitness interviews. One particularly sensational variant claimed the orca was triggered by the scent of menstrual blood, a gruesome detail designed to evoke primal fear and spark gender-related discussions. This element, experts noted, was a common trope in viral hoaxes, adding emotional weight without basis in reality. The creators, anonymous, perhaps motivated by clicks, ad revenue, or sheer mischief, exploited the public's fascination with true crime and animal attacks. By August 2025, as the video exploded, fact-checkers from sites like Snopes and major news outlets debunked it en masse. The International Business Times reported on the AI techniques used, highlighting how voices were cloned and visuals stitched seamlessly. Forbes questioned the platform's role, asking why such content evaded moderation filters. Social media companies issued statements, removing copies and algorithmically demoting similar posts, but the damage was done. Millions had been fooled, sharing it as fact. The hoax's success lay in its plausibility, drawing from real tragedies that had scarred the marine entertainment industry. It wasn't born in a vacuum, it echoed genuine horrors that had unfolded in similar settings, reminding us of the thin line between spectacle and danger. To understand the hoax fully, one must delve into the real stories that inspired it, the authentic tales of human hubris clashing with nature's untamed force. The most infamous parallels stem from incidents involving captive orcas, creatures whose intelligence rivals that of great apes, yet whose confinement in concrete tanks has led to documented stress, aggression, and fatal outcomes. Take the case of Dawn Brancheau, a seasoned trainer at SeaWorld Orlando, whose death in 2010 sent shockwaves through the world. Dawn, 40 years old with over 16 years of experience, was performing in the Dine with Shamu show on February 24, 2010. She was interacting with Tilikum, a 12,000-pound bull orca captured from the wild in 1983 and implicated in 2 prior deaths. The routine was routine. Dawn lay on a shallow slide-out platform, petting Tilikum, when suddenly he grabbed her ponytail and pulled her into the water. What followed was a nightmare. Witnesses described Tilikum thrashing her violently, drowning her, and inflicting severe injuries including scalping and dismemberment. The autopsy revealed multiple fractures, lacerations, and asphyxiation. The audience, initially thinking it part of the act, soon realized the horror as alarms blared and staff evacuated the area. SeaWorld initially blamed Dawn's ponytail as a mistake, but investigations by OSHA Occupational Safety and Health Administration revealed systemic issues, inadequate barriers, ignored behavioral warnings, and the psychological toll on captive orcas. Tilikum, who had spent much of his life in isolation, exhibited signs of psychosis, a condition experts linked to the stresses of captivity, small tanks, disrupted social structures, and forced performances. The incident spurred the 2013 documentary, Blackfish, which exposed SeaWorld's practices, leading to public backlash, stock plunges, and eventual phase-outs of orca shows. Dawn's family, while grieving, advocated for better safety, but her story became a rallying cry for anti-captivity movements, highlighting how these animals, in the wild, travel hundreds of miles daily in family pods, not concrete prisons. Another haunting real incident that mirrors the Jessica hoax is the death of Alexis Martinez at Loro Park in Tenerife, Spain, on December 24, 2009, just months before Dawn's tragedy. Alexis, a 29-year-old trainer from the Canary Islands, was rehearsing for a Christmas show with Quito, a 6,600-pound orca on loan from SeaWorld. During an underwater sequence, Quito deviated from the routine, ramming Alexis with his rostrum snout, causing massive internal injuries including compression fractures, organ lacerations, and bite marks. Alexis was pulled from the water unconscious and died en route to the hospital from multiple traumas and cardiac arrest. Eyewitnesses among the staff described the attack as sudden and unprovoked, but records later showed Quito had displayed aggressive behaviors before, including pushing trainers and refusing cues. Loro Park, affiliated with SeaWorld, faced criticism for inadequate training protocols and the risks of housing orcas in facilities not originally designed for them. The incident prompted Spanish authorities to investigate, resulting in fines and enhanced regulations. Alexis's family spoke of his passion for animals, his dream job turned nightmare, and the need for reform. Like Dawn's case, it underscored the incompatibility of orcas with captivity. These animals possess complex brains, emotional depth, and social needs that tanks cannot fulfill. Studies by marine biologists, such as those from the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society, have shown that captive orcas suffer from dorsal fin collapse due to lack of deep diving, tooth damage from gnawing on gates, and shortened lifespans. Wild orcas live up to 90 years, captives often half that. Aggression toward trainers, rare in the wild where orca-human attacks are virtually non-existent, spikes in confinement, attributed to frustration and boredom. These real tragedies provided the blueprint for the Jessica Radcliffe hoax, blending elements like the public performance, sudden attack, and graphic details to create a compelling fake. The menstrual blood angle, absent in real cases but added for shock value, echoes urban legends about sharks and periods, preying on misconceptions. Why did it fool so many? In an era of deepfakes and AI proliferation, discerning truth from fiction has become harder. Tools like Stable Diffusion or Midjourney can generate lifelike videos in minutes, and platforms reward engagement over accuracy. The hoax tapped into collective fears about wild animals, corporate negligence, and the illusion of control over nature. It also reignited debates on marine parks. SeaWorld, post-Blackfish, ended orca breeding in 2016 and shifted to educational exhibits, but facilities worldwide still operate, drawing criticism from groups like PETA. Orcas, technically the largest dolphins, are apex predators with no natural enemies, their name, killer whale, stemming from hunting whales, not humans. In the wild, they form matrilineal pods, use echolocation for hunting, and display cultural behaviors like unique dialects. Captivity disrupts this, leading to incidents that, while rare, about 70 trainer injuries documented since the 1970s, are often severe. Beyond the orca specifics, the Jessica story reflects broader issues in digital misinformation. Similar hoaxes have plagued the internet, fake celebrity deaths, fabricated disasters, all designed to harvest views and data. In Jessica's case, the spread was turbocharged by shorts formats, quick, emotional clips that bypass critical thinking, Users shared without verifying, amplifying the echo chamber. Fact-checkers emphasize cross-referencing sources, checking for official reports, and using tools like reverse image search. As AI advances, experts predict more such deceptions, urging education on media literacy. For marine conservation, the hoax inadvertently did good, drawing attention to real plights: ocean pollution, overfishing, and climate change threatening orcas. Organizations like the Orca Research Trust advocate for sanctuaries over parks, where retired captives can live semi-wild lives. In retrospect, the Jessica Radcliffe incident, that is, the non-incident, serves as a modern fable. It warns of the dangers lurking not just in ocean depths, but in our screens. While no real Jessica met a grisly end atop an orca, the story compels us to honor those who did, like Dawn and Alexis, by pushing for ethical treatment of animals. It reminds us that true stories of loss deserve our empathy, not diluted by fakes. As the viral wave receded, leaving behind debunkings and discussions, one hopes it fosters skepticism and compassion. The ocean's giants, the orcas, continue their ancient dances in the wild, far from human stages, where they belong. And in that freedom lies the real lesson: respect nature, question narratives, and seek truth amid the tides of information.